Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and joining us for this meeting. The meeting is to present, discuss, and to take your input on a possible new hotel and the conversion of our civic center from a civic center to a convention center in downtown Beaumont. My name is Chris Boone. I'm the Assistant City Manager for the City of Beaumont, and I look forward to tonight's program to discuss and again take input on this key component of downtown Beaumont's plan to revitalize downtown Beaumont. However, before we begin, I would like to invite Mayor West up to lead us in an invocation, pledge of allegiance, and a welcome from Mayor West. Mayor?
Thank you. Good evening. It's good to see everybody that's here. Let us pray. Loving and almighty God, thank you for the opportunity together to discuss the future opportunities of this city, our downtown, and this hotel project. Help us listen and give us direction so that we can grow a city where people want to live and visit. And thank you for this beautiful building that we're in, that prior city leadership had the vision to build. And lastly, thank you for all the interested residents that are here this evening. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. And for those that are on this side, the flag is on the other side here, right there. So if y'all can't see it, that's where we'll be doing the pledge to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm about to hand it back over to Chris, but before I do, I really want to thank each and every one of you. I know everybody on City Council and our city manager and assistant city managers, everybody is super excited about this. And the way this works is with y'all and your involvement. So we're here to listen, we're here to pay attention, and thank you for those that took the time to show up. It means a lot to us, and it means a lot to your city because you're a part of planning the future of this city. Thank you. And Chris?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I'd like to thank the mayor for coming. We also have several of our council members who are attending tonight. Kenneth Williams, our city manager. Next to him, we have June Ellis, our assistant city manager. We also have a few department directors with us tonight. And also I'd like to recognize our Downtown Planning and Development Advisory Committee. This is a committee that's been working for many, many months now to try to help steer us and guide us in putting together the overall Vision 2035 plan for Beaumont, but also helping direct us in what we're here to talk about tonight, which is specifically a hotel for downtown Beaumont. As many of y'all know, there's been talk of developing a new hotel in downtown Beaumont for many, many years. However, this particular council and administration is taking some concrete steps in trying to make that happen. The first step we took several months ago was to partner with Garfield Public-Private LLC, and they're going to talk to you here in a minute about some of the great work they've done in other cities, and hopefully will help us to do similar work here in Beaumont. And so that's been undergoing. More recently, they've been working on specifically a market analysis of what our hotel market looks like and what demand for a hotel may look like. In addition, they have partnered with Boca Powell, which is an architectural firm. And as we go into the program tonight, you'll see some of the renderings, some of the concepts that they have presented. And so, again, the idea for this step tonight is to take input from the public, from those who have come here, but also for those who aren't able to attend tonight. We are recording this, streaming it, and we will be posting it. We'll also have links to the public who aren't able to attend or those who may want to comment later, input on what we're talking about here tonight for the hotel. But also we'll have links to comments from the public on our overall Downtown Vision 2035 plan. So With that, without further ado, I want to go ahead and turn the program over to Steve Gelbreth with Garfield Public Private. Steve, can you please join us?
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Hi, I'm Steve Galbraith. I'm the Chief Development Officer of Garfield Public Private, and we do this in cities across the United States, and we've done this a lot across Texas. And it's a tough project to get done, but I think what we're going to do is through your input, show you a roadmap on how it can happen in Beaumont. And so, you know, we've done, let's say, very similar projects like this. We've done 4 of these in the last 5 years. We just opened the new Hyatt Regency in Baytown, just a bit down the street. Almost the same program. Actually, it's a little bit bigger, but we appreciate you coming. We're going to have this presentation. We're going to talk a little bit about what we do and what we've done around the nation, so you can see that. Then we're going to sit down with our architects. They're going to go through the plan for the city, the drawings, and kind of a little bit of detail here. Then we're going to break up into, I think maybe, Don, you still think maybe 2? So we're going to break up into kind of 2, maybe half down the middle, and half will go over to that side. And we're going to start kind of doing maybe a 20-minute small group where we can get more input, because I know it's hard to maybe raise your hand and give comments when there's a couple hundred people here. But so we'll break up into a small group over on that side, a small group over here, and then we'll give everybody stickies and pens, and we can get comments and we, you know, things you like, things you don't like. So we really want input. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. We know these are hard projects, but this is how you get it done. So, and with me today is our chairman, Ray Garfield. Some of you might know him as the Beaumont Bullet. He's from Beaumont and went to high school. He can tell you the story here in a second. And then also we have Don Powell, and Brock also came with us from Boca Powell, our architects. Again, they've done the last 4 hotels that we've opened here. So thanks again for coming, and I'll see you back up here in a few more minutes. But Ray Garfield, please. Thank you.
So I'm walking a little bit slowly because I got a brand new right knee about 4 months ago. Not as spry as Steve. I am a Beaumont product. I went to Averill, Eugene Field, Bowie, and French High School, class of '62. And so this is the second time in my career that I've had a chance to come back to a community that I participated in. The first one was actually San Juan, Puerto Rico, because when I was flying for the Navy, I was flying in Puerto Rico, and they had a solicitation to develop a convention center headquarters hotel, coincidentally, on the Navy San Juan base that the U.S. Navy gave back to the Commonwealth when they pulled out of Puerto Rico. And so, and that's when I first met Steve Galbraith, because Steve was an architect with a firm called RTKL, and headed all of their design group for hotels. And he designed the 500-room Sheraton Convention Center and casino and hotel that supports the Puerto Rico Convention Center in San Juan. This is especially gratifying because, again, I'm a Beaumonter, and getting the chance to come back and just work with the mayor and the city council and staff has been a thrill to think that perhaps we can play a part in reviving downtown. Downtown's a lot different than it was back in the 1950s and 60s when I was here and growing up. The building where my dad managed a retail store is no longer there. It's a parking lot. A lot of buildings aren't there. And the Civic Center lacks a headquarters hotel. So the CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, doesn't have the opportunity to talk to group planners to say, if you come and visit in Beaumont and meet in Beaumont, we've got a beautiful headquarters hotel, so you can be in this hotel and you can get into the meeting space in the Convention Center, Civic Center, which we need to change the name of because Beaumont has been approved in the last legislative session here in Texas. If they build a hotel within 1,000 feet of a convention center, and that would be the Civic Center downtown, that the state will rebate all of the state's share of hotel occupancy tax and sales tax for a 10-year period, which is a lot of recovery of taxes that are paid that come back into the municipal coffers to help in a public-private partnership. It costs a lot more to develop a hotel, a full-service hotel, than it does to develop a Marriott Courtyard or a Hilton Garden Inn or a Fairfield Inn or a Hampton Inn. Those are limited service or select service hotels, probably 100, 120 rooms, 2 or 3 room modules as meeting space, a grab-and-go kitchen. When you look at a headquarters hotel for a convention center, it's a full-service hotel. It's a Hilton, it's a Marriott, it's a Hyatt Regency, not a Hyatt Place, a Hilton, not a Hilton Garden Inn. And it takes at least twice as much money to design and build these buildings because you're developing ballrooms and pre-function areas that have to support this full-service hotel, a 3-meal-a-day restaurant, fitness center, business center, a great bar, all of those things that go into this. And the meeting space is generally about 100 square feet per room. So if you build a 150-room hotel, you're going to build 15,000 square feet of meeting space. A 200-room hotel, 20,000 square feet of meeting space. So that's a lot of money that goes into these things, and then you have to be able to earn that from people that stay in the hotel and eat in the restaurant and so forth. So it becomes typically a public-private partnership where we help raise all the private capital we possibly can, and the balance of the cost of doing this thing is typically contributed by the community, and in some cases by members of the community, family trusts, foundations, high net worth individuals and so forth. In Abilene, where we built a hotel, we were able with the city to raise about $17 million in foundation grants because that city wanted that new hotel for its civic center downtown so badly. So all of that is terribly important, and again, we really look forward to showing you some of our vision and information that we've been working on and feeding back to your staff and mayor and city council and city manager. Steve? Okay. So, look, our firm is now 27 years old. We develop across the nation. We've developed actually close to $3 billion now in public developments. We started out doing traditional public projects like the municipal courthouse for the city of Atlanta. 8 schools, the bundle of 8 for Los Angeles Unified School District, the Department of Transportation headquarters for the state of New York. But over this 27 years, we've become best known really for 2 types of infrastructure. One are hotels that support convention centers for municipalities, and occasionally an airport terminal hotel, perhaps a hospital campus or college campus hotel. And performing arts, museums, performing arts, expo centers. We've done a number of those around the country. We're, Steve and I and a group of really talented people are sort of the senior level folks in our organization. We have developed, as I said, across the nation and even into Puerto Rico over the years. We've opened really 3 hotels in the last 12 months, 4 in the last 5 years, I guess, and here in Texas, but have developed hotels in Michigan and in Puerto Rico and Kansas. And we've got a significant amount, as I said, of hospitality experience. 20-plus hotels, thousands of rooms, and hundreds of thousands of square feet of meeting space. And I'll turn it back over to Steve for additional comments, and then I may chime in.
Great. Awesome. We're going to just kind of zip through some of these just so you get an idea of the process. You know, there's kind of three main reasons for doing this. You're creating a destination, you're promoting economic development, and we're trying to make this a reality. Some hotels so you can get a kind of an idea. On the left, up in the top corner, is the Westin Hotel. We opened in 2019 in Irving, Las Colinas. It's 350 keys. It's the headquarters hotel for the Irving Convention Center. Top right is the Sheraton Puerto Rico Convention Center. Ray talked about. Ray was my client when I was an architect. It was great, beautiful hotel. Bottom left is the Overton Hotel and Conference Center in Lubbock, and then bottom right is the Sheraton Overland Park in Overland Park, Kansas, with 250,000 square feet of meeting space there. Bay City, Michigan is probably the smallest project we've done. It's a DoubleTree Hotel on the right top. Another DoubleTree. That's the hotel we just opened in Abilene, Texas. Abilene's very similar. When we broke ground in Abilene, I think there were like 40 permits pulled within the months following that. So these are become a real catalyst for development and things to come in the city around the project. Bottom left is the Hyatt Regency in Baytown on Bayland Island, just west of here. And then on the right is the Hyatt Regency in Conroe. So these kinds of properties need to have direct connection. The hotel and the meeting space are directly adjacent or connected. That's looking inside our pre-function space at the Irving property. You see it's right across the street from the convention center. Full service restaurants, banqueting kitchens, full bar, full fitness center. Off in the distance on the right, you see the pool deck. You see the lawn off through the windows. That's in Irving at the Toyota Music Factory. But full workout facilities. The pool outside, hot tub, pool, great space. Move all the tables and chairs and do cocktail receptions. It's a space that we can sell for events. We're going to talk a little bit in general. We're not going to go into too much detail, but we're going to talk about financing just a little bit here. And Ray, I'll let you come up and talk, and I will maybe use the clicker, okay?
Okay, great. Again, as I said, these properties, each one of them is different to a degree. The Overton Hotel in Lubbock, for the city of Lubbock and Texas Tech University, we actually developed a separate locker room for the students in the hotel and restaurant majors program at Texas Tech, who train at our hotel every day. We're right across the street from the Texas Tech campus. So we were able to get two foundations, one the Moody Foundation in Galveston, the first $1 billion foundation in the state of Texas, contributed $5 million to the city of Lubbock for this project. And the largest foundation in Lubbock, the CH Foundation, contributed $6 million. So $11 million came in foundation grants to mitigate the investment by the city of Lubbock and Texas Tech by about 50%. And this was the one hotel that was financed conventionally. That is, we've had to get a bank to give us a construction loan and a mini-perm, as it's called, the first 5 years of operations, and then some equity. And the Moody family and their hotel company, they were our equity partners in the deal. And so we were able to produce that. The city owns the meeting space. The Moody Hotel Company, 1859 Historic Hotels, owns the hotel. And we were partners with them in the early years. They bought us out a few years ago, but still own it.
So, it's really important for us to kind of do this in the right steps. And you see, looking at an economic impact study, interviewing stakeholders. We've done much of this work. Develop scope and a spatial program. You're going to see some of that today. And we've produced some design concepts. And look, they've been with our input from the city staff and the council. We've had great, but we haven't had your input yet. So I think that's kind of the missing piece of this, and hopefully we'll get some of that today. We'll start working on development budgets and schedules. We'll identify an operator. We're kind of agnostic onto what hotel we think flag this would be, whether it's a Hilton or whether it's a Marriott or a Hyatt. We've worked with all of them. They're all operators and brands. They don't own many of their hotels. They're really kind of asset light. They like to operate the hotels for a fee, but for instance, Marriott, I don't know, they probably own a dozen hotels. They don't own 1,000 hotels. So they operate them. So we'll bring that in. And then we build a full operational and business plan, plan of finance and fundraising, And then we kind of figure out what that input from the city would be. And then we present all that to the city for the city to say, "Hey, this is something we want to do, something we're not ready for yet." And then the development process, you know, if we were to start today, if you said, we're going to do this, let's go, we're going to probably need 12 months to design, price, get contractors lined up, get permits pulled, things like that. And then it's probably another 2 years to build this project. So we're probably talking 3 years from now to open a hotel like this. That's just in order of magnitude, kind of what have in your mind. So you'll see during that time, we'll do fundraising. That's the best way to bring down the amount that the city has to put in, is find a foundation that can put some of that money in for you, or find a wealthy family organization that can do that. We engage the entire development team. We like to bring on local engineers. We like to have geotechnical engineers and civil engineers and traffic folks, and bring all those people in to make sure that this is going to be the best project it can be. Schedule and do cost estimating, and then obviously we construct the building, we commission the building, we tune the building, we get to the pre-opening, which is kind of the last 6 months. Once we start hiring, a project like this will have 100 to 150 full-time staff, and those will come from here, right? And we have soft opening, and then we're open to the public. So that's kind of the overall. Now, yep, go ahead.
I'm going to say before the architects come up, you know, we do engage these major brands. We want to have a major brand, a Marriott, a Hilton, or a Hyatt, probably, with the largest groups of frequent stayers. They can get points when they stay at the hotel and for business, and then they can use those points for vacations. The hotel companies often want to brand and manage the hotel. So it may be Hyatt or Marriott or Hilton managing this hotel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the next 30 years at least. And in some cases, they may ask to have a third-party company come in to manage the hotel, and there are a number of very fine third-party managers that are out there. So Garfield doesn't manage the hotel 24 hours a day. We do act as an asset manager for those cities that want us to do so, which is basically advising the city, because this is, again, the one hotel in the next generation, if Beaumont decides to do this, that we'd ask Beaumont to collaborate in a public-private partnership, because it's supporting everything. It's a great piece of infrastructure for the citizens to use, to have weddings, graduation ceremonies, to have your friends come in and have a really nice stay when they're coming to visit your family, but also to really host significant meetings, associations and convention meetings that come into the city and spend 2 and 3 days at a time. So it just will activate a significant part of downtown, and we think it's such a catalyst for growth, new growth in downtown, new restaurants, retail buildings, office development, residential development. It just enlivens an area when you design and build this particular facility. So Don, you and Brock want to come up? Don Powell and Brock Jones, they're both with Boca Powell. Don and his firm have designed the last 4 hotels that we've done here in Texas. Boca Powell's a 40-plus-year-old firm, one of the finest in the country. Don.
Well, Brock Jones is up here with me because he does a lot of the heavy lifting on getting these images out and coordinating all the activities of our support team. So I want to acknowledge Brock, and he'll weigh in on some of these issues as well. Again, my name is Don Powell. I've been with the same firm for 48 years, designed over 50 million square feet of built buildings, and have the best clients in the country. The thing I'm most proud of is the company we keep. And I will say, when Ray Garfield left Beaumont, he went to the Naval Academy. He's a man of integrity, unlike most developers I've worked with in my life. He tells it to his clients the way it is. I met Ray in a public hearing. We were both competing. I was with a different developer. The developer that I was teamed with ended up winning the project because they told the city what they wanted to hear. That developer failed. Ray Garfield came back later and lived up to their dream. My point is, Ray isn't here to just tell you what you want to hear. He will guide you and give you the opportunity to figure out how to get this done. It is an uphill battle today in the world we live in with financing. So Ray is uniquely qualified to come from Beaumont, and he adds that interest and desire to make this a personal favorite of his own. So we're going to talk about this particular piece of land in the heart of Beaumont. And when we toured the site, one of the first things that we really were taken back with was just the waterfront itself. The Neches River is a big part of the ecosystem in this region, but it also is something that travelers love to take advantage of when they're staying in a hotel. They want to see it. They also want to see the interesting bridge that's in the adjacent piece of land next to the Civic Center. But when we talk about the other improvements that are going on and talked about in the downtown area, the Riverwalk is a game changer. This is the step that can get the Riverwalk to become a reality. When you have a convention center hotel and have a convention center, and Ray already touched on the fact we've got to relabel that Civic Center a convention center to make that happen. So as we look at this, what are the pluses? There are great sight lines. You can direct guest room views to these invaluable sites that you have around this hotel site. But there's also vitality that can come back to downtown. And the schemes that you're going to see here are nothing more than placeholders for us, but they start a conversation about what the attributes are of different layouts for towers. There are really four basic components to a hotel project in this case. You have the convention center component, and that has to be accounted for in all schemes. We have a hotel tower. We have a parking structure that's going to support all of this activity, and we also have ballroom and meeting room space. So those four things are essential that we get it right in terms of where they're located and how they function. Interestingly enough, the ability to expand is something that we take a look at because it gives you the flexibility maybe not to build a 200-key hotel day one, but build a 160-key hotel day one. If it performs better, we're better off having a nearly full 160-key hotel than a partially empty 200-key hotel. But the opportunity to expand by 100 keys when the time is right is what we want to build into the studies that we are considering. So we believe that this whole process is going to be an exercise, if you will, in considering alternatives. We are not here today to tell you that we believe we have the answers. I love the idea that we're here with all of you tonight. This is an architect's dream. It's a developer's dream that we're getting people who are invested in the city give input to this process. When I talk to Ray about what I hope to take away from this session tonight, it's how can we convince people who don't live in downtown Beaumont to come to downtown Beaumont on Friday night, Saturday night, Thursday night, come here for dinner, go to events, stay after the events, come back to the hotel, use the hotel as a meeting place before or after events. But this can become a catalyst for the community to really start to revitalize downtown. And it starts with having a safe environment and a successful place that people want to be associated with. So when we talk about the opportunity at hand, we're going to show you tonight 5 different schemes. Several of them are minor variations on one idea. But what we want to get to is if people in this community say there are things that are must-haves and we need to know what they are, tell us. If there are things that you absolutely think would be a waste of the taxpayers' money, tell us. Tell us what the things are that you hold in high esteem in terms of hotels that you've been to and places that you've been that make you want to go back. What draws you there? What keeps you coming back? So we believe in stewardship, and that's one of the things I love about Garfield. They give back to the communities, and they help them see around corners so they don't end up getting a project halfway down the road and then it falls apart when they get to the near the finish line. So it is going to take a public-private partnership to make this happen. And we want to further this conversation tonight by having this group. And Brock, if you want to just flip through these slides, we're going to be going into detail about the 5 schemes that you see here. You see the boards at this end of the auditorium. We're going to spend about 20 minutes with a group of you and drill down into a question and answer, and we have the ability to record your comments. We have what we call snow cards, little 5x7 note cards on these tables. And if you say, here's an idea that I want people to think about, write that word down on one of those white 5x7 note cards. We've got magic marker pens there for you to write that. We don't need a full sentence, 1 or 2 words just to spark the idea, and we'll carry that forward. And then we also have red and green Post-it notes. So if you can walk up to the board and say, ooh, this really excites me, or wow, this would be a bad thing, put a red sticker or a green sticker up there with a note on it. We're here again. You won't offend us, because if we thought we had all the answers, we would be the wrong architect. That's not our style. We extract information, build what the community is interested in, and that's our goal. So the idea is we'll break into 2 groups. We did a head count. We believe we've got enough room for half of the group to be on that side of the room, and the other half of the group will be here, and we're going to spend about 20 minutes on the site and the context and some of the things that we've learned from having completed this process now with 5 different municipalities within the last 5 years. And one of these projects that we finished this last year started 6 years ago. Took us 6 years to cross the finish line. And one of them took 4 years to cross the finish line, and the other one took 3 years, and they all 3 finished within about 30 days of each other. Now, who could have predicted that 3 different cities, we'd end up at the same finish line, starting at vastly different starting points? But we want to divide this group, and just based on what I see in the room, if this is your big chance, Brock. What have I missed? Have you got anything you think we ought to be sharing with people?
I think you got it.
Okay, all right. Thank you, folks. We'll split up and have this conversation then. Thank you.